in the 18-year history of our show, we've never had any star who's won such affectionate acceptance.
Put a chick in it, make her gay.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
They were big. They were hitting hard too, man.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
Broaden the areas of participation for women.
That sounds very stylish.
What is my problem? What do you think?
Beat sitting home watching television?
Bam! All right. Well, everyone, hopefully some more people will trickle in here shortly. But thank you. If you're catching us later, thank you for watching. I have a great guest here tonight, a great guy with a great comic. And without further ado, let me go ahead and we will pick out, let's see, got a bunch of stuff in my way here. Let's find an appropriate or sort of an appropriate thing here. That might be good. Let us go with this one. Simple things in life. Sometimes all you need is a crunch bar, right?
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you for joining me. How's it going? Do you prefer to go by Mad Ruth, or do you want your Christian name?
No, Craig's fine.
Craig's fine. Okay,
yeah.
Good. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. So we got to hang out, I guess, in February. You had me on your stream. That was a lot of fun. Loved hearing about that wackadoo comic guy, and I think some raccoons were going nuts, and somebody's dentures, Winston Churchill's dentures, I do believe.
Well, it's amazing how much the time goes by. Like, I remember you doing a review on my book when I raised the first crowdfunder, which I appreciate. Thank you so much. And then you came on our show, which I appreciate. And now I have the opportunity to come on your show as well. So thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Always a pleasure here. Oh, we got some people trickling in. Dante the Inferno. Hey, y'all. How's it going? And let's see. We have Sark. Thank you for joining us this evening. It's been a minute or two.
Yeah.
I will go ahead. Let me go and get your book up on the stream here so people can kind of take it in. So let me see. Soltac. I actually backed this version because I just like the concept of a black and white book. And I also back the colored version as well. But there's something about being able to take in the black and white art that's just always fun, always a treat.
Yes.
I think it captures more of the mood. So for those who might not be aware, please tell us a little bit about Soltac, the story of Soltac.
Sure. So this actually started for me. Like, I was in the military for 26 years. I did a couple tours in Afghanistan and Bosnia. So what started off is basically my escapism, a place for me to decompress and sort of escape into my own thoughts while I was, in miserable places and miserable conditions.
Yeah.
So it started off as basically just like a fly on the wall, 6,000 years in the future. If I could see where humanity was, how would I envision the human race in 6,000 years? So
barring that we don't all, blow each other up and die in a fireball.
On a more positive note, science fiction and us still existing. So I pictured we conquered the solar system. I figured that's how far we will get. Various planets and moons, and we'd be able to travel freely in the solar system. And then I sort of had to create that universe there, and then I had to create the bad guys. So I imagined us getting into a war with artificial intelligence, which is these are reoccurring themes with science fiction. Genetically modifying various animals like ferrets and orangutans and dolphins or whatnot to make them sentient as well. And again, just compiling all these ideas, and that's what came up with the basis of Soltac. And it's just the hero's journey for me. Very very reminiscent of like Star Wars, Star Trek, Planet of the Apes. Like everything that I loved about science fiction and basically 80s and 90s movies, and threw it all together and created my own story over about 15 years. So.
Yeah, it's awesome that you took something that was kind of an escape for you, and were able to turn it into just kind of this epic story that you could share with us, which I really appreciate. Um, and tell us a little bit about the hero.
So
Would you call him more of an anti-hero kind of?
yes, my characters are definitely very dark. Life, very much is like the first world where life has very little meaning. You know, people will basically do anything for a buck. So it's very ruthless type of world. You know, people will do anything to survive. So the main hero, his name's Dexter Barrow. And again, a lot with genetic modification. People live basically like biblical age. They live about 200, 300 years now. Their body just starts to decompose and stuff like that. But so he spent the AI horde. He was originally in the military. He retired from that. Then he became basically a smuggler and a bounty hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And a career doing that as well. So he has a bit of a reputation that carries him. He's a known war hero. People know what he's about in the galaxy. So he can go in between all the smugglers and pirates, and the evil people know where he is, as well as all the government and corporate officials and stuff. They also know who he is as well. So he's able to basically go on both sides of the fence, which made him the great candidate that he was for them to hire to basically hunt down a Ronin samurai that's being accused of sabotaging near light speed travel and stuff like that. So that's what starts off the story, is he gets hired to do a mission.
I bet at the time when you were kind of conceptualizing all this, you didn't think that we would be, you know, at this point in our lives, kind of contending with a potential threat of artificial intelligence. It's really strange. It almost seems like it kind of happened all of a sudden. Like and it almost seems like now they might be sending out subtle warnings to mankind. Like maybe it's kind of gotten out of their control a little bit. I don't know if you heard this, but I read about a week or two ago that one of the creators of, you know, that helped develop the artificial intelligence, you know, some of the different programs and everything. Well, they now are learning, you know, with a hive mind kind of method, so they can kind of interact and pull from each other's knowledge, the different artificial, you know, intelligent constructs, whatever you would call them. But the guy that worked on the program, he said there's about a 10-15% chance that in the next 15 or 20 years, AI might try to wipe us out. It's like, did you idiots learn anything from watching Terminator? Like, what's wrong with you, you know?
Yes, that's where I said like Terminator kind of got it wrong, because they only had to chase down, was it Miles Dyson, and they had to eliminate one guy. I didn't realize in the future we would have 10 different corporations competing against each other.
Yeah. It's not just Cyberdyne.
First, right?
It's everything. But I really like the concept. And, you know, I think it's kind of easy to fall into the trap of, you know, trying to mold your story, you know, similar to this or that or the other thing. But Soltak really felt unique and original. And do you have, and I know we talked a little bit about this in the back room, and for those who might not be aware, you said that the issue that I got is the collected books 1 through 3 of your story.
So originally I just wanted to do graphic novels. I was very optimistic. I started this project roughly 2018. I started reading how to actually sit down and make a comic book. I've been reading comic books since like 85, so it's not that I'm new to comics. But as a creator, and again, it was through Comicsgate, through the community, other indie creators making all these suggestions, all these tutorial videos, everything that's available. I never would have imagined being able to do this without this amazing community that we're all a part of. But I did my required reading, how to draw comics the Marvel way, on writing, how to create graphic novels. So I learned about sequential storytelling. So from there, I was originally going to try to write novels, and then that's what inspired me. Hey, maybe I can do this as a comic book. So in any case, I wanted to make 3 graphic novels, was my intent, to tell the complete Soltak story. The first one would be Betrayal. The middle graphic novel would be Arise, and then the third one would be Destiny. And I'm convinced the entire story as it is in my head, I could do it in 3 graphic novels. So I front load paid for the story. Like nothing was going to stop me. I said, worst case scenario, I'm at least going to do the first graphic novel, and at least I will have said I've done it, I've accomplished it, and everything that I've endeavored to do, I've done. You know, sink or swim, we'll see what happens. And it did well for, I mean, a first time creator and a first time but I didn't know anything about any of this going into it. And once I realized the costs involved with making these graphic novels, it costs about as much as it does to make 3 single issue floppies to make one graphic novel. So I very much realized, I'm not going to fork out that much money again to make the next one. So I split it into floppies, which is basically taking smaller bites of the same sandwich. But yeah, I've now made the 4th. I finished the 4th book now, which is.
I think that's important for creators out there that might be thinking about finally taking that step, that leap of faith. I think a lot of people go into it thinking that I have this awesome idea, I'm ready to go, and that it's automatically going to be successful. But I mean, you can do everything right, and you can advertise and put yourself out there, and you still might hit roadblocks. You might not meet your goal. You might not make as much as you think. And, that's not to say that, somebody didn't work hard or, they didn't put enough effort into it or anything like that. But it's just weird. It's like the how the world works, right? You can sometimes just do everything absolutely right, like you're supposed to, and then you still might not see the results that you're hoping for. So I guess if you could you give kind of like a word of wisdom, words of advice to people that might be thinking about getting out there, like to manage their expectations and whatnot?
So first and foremost, I would say don't be doing this to be making money at it. Like if you talk to the professionals, they're the ones that, they've done 20, 30 years. Like they've put in the work to get to where they are. Definitely doing it because you have that need to do it. You have that need to story, the need to create, and you're doing it purely out of passion. If you're just doing it, thinking it as a way to make money, there's so many other ways to make money that are so much easier, less labor intensive than making a comic book. But I would definitely say, take a look at your costs, how much it's going to cost you. Much like going to the casino, be prepared to lose it and get nothing in return for it.
Right.
But again, if you're doing this more so for yourself and to get a story out, just being appreciative of anyone who's willing to support you and back you. And I mean, for a first-time creator, I've got like 500 copies of my book are out in circulation in the world already. I've only been at it for 3 years. I mean, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So, I have different gateways and goals to hit, and obviously I would have liked to have raised more just so I could have just kept doing the 3 graphic novels. But I'm enjoying making the floppies, and I'm being able to just adjust on the fly and pick a different course of action. But yeah, definitely first-time creators, look into your overall costs, save up the money. Understand that the promotion is just as important as making the book. As you said, it doesn't matter if the book is great if you're not out there basically promoting it on social media and getting it on the shows and grabbing an audience and doing all that, putting just as much work into that as the comic book. Yeah, it's not just going to sell itself. And that's probably the one thing is I kept slagging the YouTube. I didn't really think the YouTube piece was as important as it truly is. And now I'm playing catch up. As you know, now I've got a weekly show. I should have had that. I should have had that in the first place. I should have put just as much.
Looking back on it, do you think you should have started that first before?
Yes.
You think, okay. Yeah.
Sure.
And it's not easy, doing the whole YouTube thing. It's like at first you're kind of fumbling around and it's like, trying to find guests and get people to talk to and different topics and whatnot. It can be hard, a bumpy road getting started. But I think that connection to the audience is very important. Especially I think now, I've been following Comicsgate since 2018. So, there've been ups and downs and all that kind of stuff. And then, unfortunately, some people, they might have a great idea, but maybe they're just not into the whole business aspect of it and, didn't budget things out appropriately. And unfortunately, their projects, they weren't able, even though they got funded, weren't able to produce them. Maybe life got in the way or whatever. But and because a few bad apples, it kind of spoiled the bunch for a lot of the newcomers coming in. They're like, I'm trying to prove myself. It's like trying to get credit, right? Like nobody wants to give you credit because you don't have a credit history. But how do you build that credit history unless somebody takes a chance on you?
Yes.
But
It just takes a lot of dedication and a lot of work and effort, and just keep kicking the can down the road. Just stay positive and motivated. Don't let it
Yeah.
get you down, and all good things
Life
come
will
back.
throw you curveballs, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Jimmy says
Oh,
Soul
nice.
Tack needs a cover by Reyes.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, I'd be
Maybe-
honored. That'd be awesome.
That would be great for sure. Well, let's go ahead and do you mind if I go ahead and play the trailer
Yeah.
real quick?
Oh, absolutely.
And give people an idea of the universe that you have crafted here. All right, so let me go ahead and do that. I like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
thank
like
you.
that. That's great.
Yeah.
All right, so this is issue number 4. So,
Yep. It's a direct
um,
continuation. Like the entire story, I think I can do it in 9 issues. I'm fairly confident I can. So we just never stopped working. After we finished the first volume, my artist is like, "What am I gonna do now?" And it was like, I
keep
guess
on
we're just
drawing.
it's like I guess we'll just keep going. So yeah, so I spent the entire year after I did that, and we put this book out now with 32 more pages. We did that in a year. Yeah, and it continues on the adventure right where it leads off. It goes a bit of a flashback into what severed Dexter and Giles's friendship. So you finally get that backstory, and you can see now in my campaign, I finally got lettered pages all up there. Like the book
Yeah.
is finished. It's at the printer right now. I'm just waiting for the printer to confirm my quote and basically do that final sign off that I'm going, and then I'm going to obviously do all those updates. It's at the printers. So as soon as I hear back from them.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
great too, where they can get, the bundle of all 4.
Yeah.
Now, would you have issues 4, I guess 5 and 6? Do you plan on trying to ever do another collected?
Yep.
Okay.
So looking a little bit out further. So I'm going to have to write 5 and 6 at the same time because I got to each page is like a piece of real estate. It costs a lot of money to make a comic book page. It costs about $200 if you count paying everybody per page. So you have to be so I got to lay out all 76 pages. I don't just write it. I also do the layouts. I do the storyboards. Like I'm heavily involved with it with my whole creative team. So I have to lay out both issue 5 and issue 6 before I even begin production. But what I'm going to do for my next campaign, because I'm still trying to break that 5 figures. Even on this campaign, I'm so close. It's one of those milestones, right? You sort of set for yourself if I can break it. So my 5-figure goal on issue 5 will be giving everyone issue 6 for free. Fingers crossed.
Wow.
Yeah. So if I am able to do that and I can put 4, 5, and 6 together, absolutely. I'll do the line art volume 2 for 4, 5, and 6, and then I'll do the collected Arise trade paperback. Oh yeah, I'm going to keep going. So
that is awesome. Wow.
Yeah,
I mean, that's quite a goal right there.
Yeah. And there is an end goal. Like issue 9 is where I'm trying to go with all this crowdfunding is the complete Soul Tax story. I have a vision. I have a concept. I can deliver. I am on time. I'm really good with my time management.
Proven right here. I got it right in my formerly nicotine stained hands, right? Good old Rush Limbaugh. But yeah. And then you have some other stuff down here too. You're part of the Arrow.
Yeah.
So
So Arrow Comics family, that's Luke Stone and Randy
Mhm.
Zimmerman. They own Arrow Comics, and then along with that, I'm with all kinds of various other incredible artists in the Arrow family. You've got Riff Riders in there, which is
yeah.
John Dillard book.
And then Piper was on that too, wasn't she?
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
And it's escaping my mind right now. All the amazing books, but I mean, you've got Hybrids in there. You've got Sin
Yeah.
Killer. Russ Leach is in there as well with Only Death Can Save Us, and he's got
Yep.
Shadow Kingdom. I don't know if you've had him on, but
No, I have not had the honor.
but so we're all agreeing that we all have to work together. We all have to have the same, like very much roll on the same team when it comes to Arrow Comics and promoting each other.
Right.
So that's why we did these bundles, which give people an opportunity to get multiple titles at the same time under the Arrow banner. So yeah.
I love the aesthetic of the world that you've created within Soltac. It's just, you kind of get a little bit of a feel of it's like new, but kind of retro style too.
Yeah.
And then you kind of almost get a little bit of Snake Plissken there. And it just, I love it. You get a little bit of a cyberpunk kind of feel. But everything is fresh. And,
Right.
and I really like that. And I think that's kind of the neat thing about comics is you just have the freedom to really, if you can think it, you can do it. Whereas in other mediums, say movies, you're really limited to, the budget and everything. But, here, whatever your imagination thinks of, you can set it out in the story and have your artist draw it out. It's just, I don't know, very, very freeing, I think.
Yeah. And definitely, I didn't want to make it too serious with this book. Like, so one thing is you got to make your IP like yours. It has to be what you like. So I didn't want everything perfect and highly detailed and all that. I wanted comedy in there. There's some stuff that's outlandish and it's ridiculous. It's a comic book, right? Like, you're not supposed to take it serious, right? All kinds of Easter eggs in there and just funny stuff in there. But the biggest thing is definitely the team. You don't want to be a tyrant as a creator, and I find that's a lot of where the friction points happen, where somebody tries to tell the artist what to do too much, or the writer. I mean, they have all these frictions, and then the book doesn't end up getting done because the creative team falls apart. So definitely, it's a collaboration with me and my creative team. So Gonzalo, I picked his portfolio out of about 300 portfolios I went down to, and then I narrowed it down to 20. And then
Wow.
me and him we just hit it off so well. That chemistry was just there. We both got each other, and I mean, we talk pretty much every day, me and Gonzalo. So I'll do the layouts and the storyboard, but I don't handcuff him to it.
Right.
He will take, like, sometimes I'll have like 9 panels and he'll turn it into 5 panels. And as long as it contains all the elements necessary on that page, like, run with it, right? I got to trust my artist, right? And
What's your method? Do you kind of give them the idea? Do you do any sketches?
yeah, so for me, like, I can show you the level of drawing. Like, I'm not a super great artist, but
let me do this here. Oops. Hit the wrong one. Bear with me 1 second here. So I'm indigging you. Okay, yeah.
So that's how I do my panels. And then for, like, when I actually draw, so that's my artistic, like, I can draw, but not as good as Gonzalo. So that's that one page. I don't know if that page is in there or not, but it's very similar to what ends up being the final page. But then Gonzalo will take that and he'll run with it and he'll do his own thing, right? He'll do what he thinks is awesome. And then he obviously runs it by me. And he's, to date, I don't think he's ever shown me anything where it's like, I wasn't happy with it. He's always much better at storytelling with the storyboard than I can be. And he's also done a couple comics too, so I could lean on that experience. My letterer is Kurt Hathaway, so he's like Image, like an Image legend, Extreme Studios, Rob Liefeld and all them back in the day. So I mean, same thing with him when it comes to lettering. I very, very small adjustments that I need to make to his lettering.
That is great. Get a team where it's just like everything gels, and you tell them your vision, and then they just kind of can run with it. They know exactly what you're, I guess, what you're trying to bring to the page. So 9 issues is going to be the story. Gives us kind of like a good beginning, middle, and end. Obviously, do you have any ideas for the future, or anything else that you'd like to dive into, carrying on Soltac, or maybe something else, or are you keeping that close to your chest?
Yeah, I'm not super focused on what I'll do after the 9 issues of Soul Tack, but I do have a couple other science fiction stories in the back of my mind that I'm willing to play with, and I would definitely probably explore those and look more at collaborating with other artists in the community before I
Yeah.
probably jump back into Soul Tack. But right now, my goal is just to finish it, to fingers crossed with the help of crowdfunding and support and everyone who who's
For
got
sure.
me as far as I've gotten now to see if I can get all 9 issues done. So. And I'm just
Yeah,
having
that's
fun.
great.
I'm having a blast. Like this is my retirement. I'm almost 50. I'm getting close, but
Yeah,
this
you were
is,
saying earlier your retirement, but you still have to like look after your kids and everything. That
yeah,
seems like a full-time job for
yes,
sure.
yeah,
Goodness gracious. But yeah, it'll keep you young and everything.
yeah.
So what drew you to sci-fi? Did you always know, you mentioned that you did this as an escape to kind of decompress when you were, in the theater, in the military and everything. Did you, um, were you inspired by something from your youth? Like watching anything like,
So Star Wars for me. Sorry, my
Mhm.
throat's all jamming
Yeah,
up.
no worries.
I was a huge Star Wars fan, like a massive Star Wars geek for 40 years. Absolutely loved Star Wars until The Last Jedi, and like most of us, that really broke my heart.
I was confused when I left the theater from that.
Yeah. I was a
I
smoker at the time. I was chain smoking in my car. I was so upset
Yeah,
with what that was. But that's how I actually discovered this community because I got home and I punched into YouTube, Last Jedi sucks. And then obviously,
for
bam,
real.
I discovered Star Wars Girl and Ethan and various other people in the community. And I realized I wasn't alone. There were a lot of other people that felt betrayed by what Disney did. But not only did they do a terrible movie and got the backlash, but then they doubled down and they said, all you 40-year-old fans, this
Yeah,
wasn't
you
made for you. And
incels.
yeah, you can all go away. So, I mean, you can either, get mad and angry and smash all your stuff, or you can take that energy and do something positive with it. So
Right.
that's what was my driving force. All right, I'm just going to make my own science fiction. And then that's what basically lit the fire. Said, okay, I'm no longer going to procrastinate. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to tell my own story the way that I think a story should be, rather than sitting there critiquing what other people do. I'll throw it all on the table and show what I can do. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's the way to do it too. Like
yeah,
kind of take that something that could be a negative energy and really wear you down and just kind of flip it around and like, hey, I'm instead of just being pissed off about it, let me go ahead and do something positive and create my own thing. So uh tell me about I get to touch on this a little bit, but like taking criticisms, like since you didn't like the Last Jedi and everything, and now that you're a creator, have you found it difficult to have your own stuff critiqued?
no, as long as it's done in the right way. Like some people, they mean well, but some people can be pretty vicious, and they'll
Yeah,
throw stuff up like, "What the hell is this?" You know what I mean?
yeah,
And they'll blast on social media, and you're like, "Whoa, what are you doing?" But if you actually have conversations with people and you sit and you listen, I've gotten a lot of incredible feedback. So much so, I've even off that issue 1, I've removed a couple word bubbles that through valid criticism. People said, "Look, this doesn't add to the story. We understand what you're trying to do. It's an Easter egg to some other movie, but reading that, it pulled me out of the story." They're like, the
yeah,
art was just fine. You could have left that bubble out of there. It would have been better. And after 3 or 4 people told that to me, I said, okay, and I've pulled that specific word bubble out based on feedback and criticism of other people. So definitely, if you're looking to improve, if you're looking to better yourself and do this better, you have to be receptive to that feedback and that.
yeah. It's hard. I can understand, especially if you put a lot of time into something. It's hard to hear that there's something wrong with your baby.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's and like you said, when you listen to the people that aren't just going, oh yeah, this sucks or whatever, and you're actually listening, like, hey, with the word bubbles, you're improving, you're making it better. So,
yeah.
um,
I've learned a
but
lot. Like I've learned so much about making comics just so far in only 4 issues, and things I would have done differently. But yeah,
well,
I
being
mean,
in the community too, you have a wealth of knowledge at your
yeah,
fingertips, like years of people in the industry. So, I mean, that's really cool. Being able to kind of glean all that knowledge from them. just great stuff.
And watching too, like you've been around since 2018 as well. Like I'm sure you
Yeah.
could appreciate where the indie comic scene was in 2018 to where it is now. It's like everyone has brought in their A game, right? Like,
Yeah.
everyone's now sort of, becoming Major League Baseball. Like the competition is higher. These mediocre books aren't going to cut it anymore, right? The artwork
No, definitely not.
The line art, obviously, a lot of pros have come in. I mean, it's just it is what it is, right? And as a backer, as a fan of indie comics, it's only getting better and better and better. As a creator, it's getting more ruthless, and you have to do what you need to do to find success, right?
Yeah, what is it? Iron sharpens iron, as the saying goes.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I enjoying it. I'm just having fun.
I like that name, Fritzy Schnitzel.
Yeah. Oh, hey Fritz, how's it going? Yeah, but yeah.
But I'm sorry, you're having a good time.
Oh yeah, and the biggest thing is to find people in the community that you get along with. I feel bad for the people that are out there solo and they're just doing it by themselves and they haven't really made a lot of friends. I get it, how that can be very tough, but definitely find one of those cliques out there where it's like there's a lot of networks where it's 4 or 5 creators and they'll be on their 4 channels and 4 or 5 creators will be on their channels. Find that one clique that you get along with and just network with them and then grow that way. And yeah, some of my best friends I've had are the friends I've met in this community in the past 3 or 4 years. So
yeah, I've met a lot of great people. It's been such a joy to have a chance to get to meet people and from all different parts of the country, different countries, different walks of life, and everything. It's just it's been great,
Yeah. And all these great comic books I got now. And if I don't like someone, I put it on eBay and I sell it.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, what you didn't like, maybe somebody else will just fall in love with. So that's the great thing about it. You're getting a shout out here from Fritzy Schnitzel. If you like Craig here, check out his Friday night stream. Definitely check out the Friday nights. It's fun.
Thank you.
Just the chemistry you have there with the other guys and the topics you come up with are just hilarious.
We're having fun too. Same thing. Me, Jason, Chris, we're like, we'll just keep going. Like this is how we want to spend our Fridays.
Right. Well, and I think you mentioned it the time I was on. It's like a great way to start off the weekend. Just a bit of a laugh. Kind of look at the crazy news out there and everything. But let's see. Let's go ahead and I did want to touch on some of the. You have some cards here too.
Yeah. So every person who backs, they get 2 free trading cards. So the first campaign came with 5 trading cards. These are pretty much exactly the same, and they augment the other 5. So now I'm up to 7 trading cards total.
Very nice.
Yeah. So everyone gets 2 of those.
And this is kind of like everything here, the whole.
Yeah. So let's look at the floppies, issues 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then the trading cards. That's what's left on this campaign at this time. Yeah, that they can back. At some point, I will probably down the road run another campaign where everything's in there. Like I'll go through how many books I have left, and I'll just try to sell everything from the very first print run. But, that's going to be months from now. So, yeah.
Your colorist is really good too. I like the colors. Makes it really fun.
That's actually my artist is the colorist as well. He wasn't originally, but I could find artists with their line art that can be very take ownership of their art, and you get it, right? It's their baby, it's their beauty,
right?
So again, the colorist I had, there's just a lot of we had to go back and touch it up. It wasn't quite the way we wanted it. So finally, my artist asked what my colorist page rate was, and he undercut the colorist page rate, and that's okay. I can't turn that down. So now
I mean, you kind of have to. I mean, you got to do the right thing business wise for sure. So. But yeah, I could understand that being kind of protective of your baby there.
So he took over the colors, so now he does the line art, inks, and the colors.
Dang, Gonzalo Loyola. Yeah.
He's Chilean, but he's the kind of Chilean that believes in throwing communists out of helicopters. So we I'm just fine.
Disavow, no, but in Minecraft, right?
Right. Yeah. Bottom line, we get along. He knows what Comicsgate's about, and he laughs. He watches some of the shows. Sometimes we'll talk back and forth, and he'll tell me about things he saw, and get a chuckle out of it. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad at least he has the ability to watch the stuff going on over here and everything. Crazy world out there. Crazy.
Yes.
Where was it they just elected? Well, not just elected. It was, I guess, a few months ago that one. Was it South American president that he's just kind of going nuts, and he's
with
like,
the
all this,
chainsaw.
yeah, all this BS,
what's his
this is out of here. Oh yeah, the Department of this, you're out of here. It's like,
I'm gonna screw up the country. I want to say Venezuela, I think.
yeah, I don't know. If we have it wrong, we apologize, Venezuela. But yeah, I don't know. The guy's a firebrand. He's just really interesting to watch. Kind of like their version of Trump here, and it's like, at some point you just need somebody to go in there like a raging fire and just purge everything. And that guy looks like he is Argentina. Okay. Yeah.
Argentina.
John Phipps says Argentina.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see, how Argentina, I guess, kind of recovers after all of that. There we go.
He's doing great by his country so far. So
yeah. Well, let's see. What do I wanted to? I wanted to actually touch on the because it's still somewhat pertinent. We were talking about your cancellation and everything from that the convention that you volunteered at.
Yep.
Do you mind discussing that whole ordeal? Because I was just kind of thinking about. I just recently got a refund from
C2E2.
C2E2. They made me take a picture of my pass cut in half, and so I was like, sure, no problem.
So same thing for me. I was in the military 26 years. I've never said I'll get on Twitter and someone will be rude to me and I'll be rude to them back. The internet. Whatever, blah, blah,
it's the
blah,
internet.
right?
Yeah. What you going to do?
I'm guilty of arguing with people on Twitter, but that's about it. I've been a law-abiding citizen. I'm a family man. I've never done anything wrong by anybody. I treat everyone decently who treats me decently, and that's how I walk through life. So I volunteered for this comic show. First, I bought a ticket. So I even bought a ticket as a regular vendor, but they kept begging for volunteers over and over and over. After about 6 or 7 times, I said, I'll go and volunteer too. Sure, why not? So I helped them set the whole thing up, set all the booths up. I helped the artists. I would bring them coffee. I'd let them know when their meals, their lunch, and all that stuff. Give them drives around the city. I handled the main ticket booth, taking in all their money. Like handling their cash for them.
Right.
Pushing the stuff that they wanted to sell. I would go relieve artists that had to go use the bathroom, go sit in their booths. Like I did that. For 2
you were
days.
doing like the whole shebang there. Like. You were just doing like little, here, let me take your ticket, please, kind of thing. No.
And I told him, I said, all I wanted, I said, look, I'm an aspiring comic book creator. I said, when it's my turn, I just want my own table, my own booth. And they're like, oh, we're going to give you one for free. I'm like, no, I don't want anything special. I just want my own table, my own booth, right? And needless to say, because I'm on comicsgate.org, I was posting videos and updates. One of the local comic store owners, it's always the local comic store owners that do this, right? Realized that I was on cg.org. I didn't say anything to offend anyone. I don't offend anyone. Doesn't have anything on me. Just the fact that I'm associated with people in Comicsgate. That was enough to trigger this person in a totally different province. I think he drove 2 hours or so to come down to the convention just to single me out, wanted to start an altercation with me or something like that in person. I don't know. But basically came up and said, have you ever heard of Watergate? And so like, obviously, I'm not stupid, right? I was like, talking about from the 60s. It's actually from the 70s. But
let's go way back. Okay.
Yeah, like, what do you? He's like, you know what I mean, and he storms off. I'm just like, whatever, right? So he did this in front of the owner of the convention, who was also military. So I thought I was vibing with him pretty good. So I was feeling pretty safe. So what's all that about? I didn't realize that they were already tweeting back and forth. Like this was just SJWs doing what SJWs whispering to each other, right? But I said, hey, look, I said all my fans and supporters, I said, they're all Christians and conservatives. I said, I don't know what this guy's problem is. He's, oh, well, you just
that's the problem right there.
Yeah, right. So, and again, I would have been fine with that. And then I basically went on Twitter and someone was asking, and I said, everything was great. And basically, I knew this guy was watching my social media. I'm not a fool. So I told some asshat, and sure enough, that was enough to trigger this guy to come out of the blue. So he jumps onto my Twitter feed. I didn't go seeking this person. I didn't even know he was, which I knew it was either my Facebook, my Instagram, or my Twitter. No idea which of my social media platforms he was on. But I put the bait out there, and sure enough, he jumped into my Twitter feed. So that went back and forth. And then Ethan was also watching that and caught into it. So I sent Ethan at that point, the convention, they sent a denunciation letter denunciating me for targeting and harassing this guy, even though he jumped into my Twitter feed. That's all, they always spin it, right?
Lord.
They always spin the story. So at that point, once I got the denunciation letter, I sent it to Ethan. I said, hey, look at what these people are doing to me. I volunteered for 2 days. I gave them 2 days of free labor, nothing but polite. They were singing the high heavens of me, and I was the greatest thing, and they couldn't wait to give me a booth and all this. The moment they got me out of the door and I helped pack it all up, Buddy jumps on my Twitter, starts a fight with me, much like, Mark Brooks there, they're allowed to do what they can do. And then that was the ammunition they needed to tell me that I'm no longer welcome. I've thought about, because they have 6 different conventions in the Atlantic area, and it does suck for me to all of a sudden have that avenue cut off for me. But do I really want to?
Huge. That's a way you could meet, new customers and everything. But yeah, the barriers that they throw up just make it impossible.
So I've thought about paying for a table, but they've changed it now so that they have the right to retain your money. So basically no refunds. And they've already put a policy where they'll just call the police and have the police throw you out. So it's a question of, do I want to go through that just for the sake of going through that or not? I don't know. We'll see, maybe.
It just blows my mind. My husband's very normie, so he doesn't really get it. So when I tell him all this stuff is happening, especially when I told him, well, it looks like we're not going to be going to Chicago. He's like, why? And I was just like, well, there are these people that think we're just Nazis and bigots and all this kind of stuff. And they waited to the 11th hour to cancel, John Malin and Shane Davis and Ethan Van Sciver. And they were the people I wanted to go see at the convention and everything. And he's like, all this drama in comics?
Right.
And it's just like, it goes beyond that. It's, like an ideology. It's their religion at this point, but it's so maddening.
And hypocritical. It's a peak
very
of
much so. That's what I...
Acceptance and inclusion, and everyone's allowed to have their beliefs and differences of opinions, except for you.
Yeah.
Right?
You wrong thinking Nazi bigot.
Right.
Aviator.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very disappointing. I was looking forward to going there.
Yeah.
The last time I went to a huge convention was San Diego Comic-Con in 2010. So it was quite a while ago. And any of the woke nonsense that might have existed then, I was so, unaware of. I'm trying to think. It wasn't really until about, I think, 2016, 2017 that I became aware that things are starting to get a little weird. It's almost like you don't know why. You can't quite put your finger on it, but it feels off. Mm-hmm. And then when somebody, shows you, well, okay, this is what's going on, that red pill moment, so to speak, it's like, wow, then you can't unsee it. Then you start seeing the indoctrination everywhere. And it's to the point, it's so frustrating. It's just like, why can't we go back? I want the blue pill, put me back in the Matrix. Here we go. Yeah. Great song, by the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside.
I just think it's just typical of society. You always have this overreach, right? People in positions of power, they just want more power, and it's never enough. And then they believe that they have the superiority, and that this, everyone has to do what they say and believe what they say.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to go against the grain. You're not allowed to have a differing of an opinion, right? It's
but it's pendulum. Like, to what end? What I guess because I'm not wired like that, but why? It's like, even if you ruled over the entire planet, it's like, what joy do you have from that? Like, that's, I can't understand. I guess I would never make a politician a good politician or whatever, because I just don't have that desire in me. I don't want to hurt anything or control anything, or I don't know.
I'm the same way. I just want to let individuals be individuals. Let me live the life the way I want to live it, if I'm not harming anyone.
Exactly. Just you do you, I do me. Oh, this is great. Thank you so much, Cole King. Cole King just said, just back the floppy bundle. Excited to read it. I love me some sci-fi fun.
Oh, thank you so much.
You will not regret it.
I'll throw in some extras for him too, for sure.
It's a great world that Craig has created, and great art, great story. Yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You guys are so great. Let's see, what else do we have here? Warlock was saying, weak arguments can't stand up against criticism.
That's right. That's why they won't argue, because they fall apart every time, like a house of cards.
It's nuts. I am going to try to do the Garden State Comic Fest, the one in Jersey. And I know some other people are going to. Hopefully, Ethan's going to still be able to make it. I think Cecil said he was going to make it. Andy Smith and I think Graham Nolan. So it'll be a nice little gathering, and it's in like a really tiny spot. But I mean, who knows? Maybe some new people will set eyes on some of the CG stuff and everything. And I like the word of mouth, like the network and everything that CG kind of has. You know, you just throw the hashtag up there, and it's like, all eyes,
great
all
community.
Eyes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the one piece about creating that I didn't have, was who was I going to sell my books to ultimately? Like, you could create this, you could paint the Mona Lisa in the desert, but you can't sell it to anyone in the desert. And it's that community that we have that made it available. And I'm so grateful for that.
It's a great time, like the technology being the way it is, you know, it just enables us to reach so many more people. I guess that's a good thing and a bad thing, you know, because it lets the wackadoos out there spread their poison out there. But
imagine how much more of a stranglehold they'd have if we didn't have social media. Like, if
my God. And you know, it can be debated as to how well Elon Musk is doing, you know, with freedom of speech on X, but at least it seems a little bit better than it was. I still see people being censored and everything, but it does seem a little bit better. Hey, Ray, great to see you.
Hey, Ray.
He's on the other side of the globe there. So yeah, let me go ahead and we'll refresh here. Dun, dun, dun. All right. So yeah, got the extra backer there, and thank you again for backing that. That is awesome.
I appreciate that so much. Yeah. It's good too, is I've only got about like 10, I think maybe 10 or 15 copies left. So it's perfect. You know, I mean, I'm not trying to move too many, but I'm trying to move those last ones. It's at the printer right now. I'm just waiting for that confirmation. So it'll be next month that I'm shipping these books out. So you won't have to wait that long, I promise.
Yeah, that's great. I know that's one of the big, you know, things that people try to throw up in Comicsgate's faces is, you know, late books. And it's like, I don't think these people understand, you know, the amount of time and work and everything that it goes into making a comic, you know, and it just from concept to completion, it's just, I'm amazed. I don't think I could ever do anything like this. You guys are just the will, the intestinal fortitude, so to speak, that it takes to see that from concept to, you know, completed product. It's just, my hat's off to you.
It's just having fun. Like I said, just enjoying it. I'm having a blast. Gonzalo's having a blast. My whole creative team's just having fun, and all the people I'm hanging out with, we're having fun too. And I think that's probably the biggest thing, is if you're not getting enjoyment and fun out of it, then maybe try doing something else, because there are some people in this community that are just miserable. It's like, if this is driving you this miserable, you know. So yeah, I'm just having fun, you know, loving life.
Yeah, for sure. Warlock was saying international shipping is the one big hurdle that needs to be worked out. Yeah, I agree. I wish there was, there has to be some better way, like maybe bulk shipping, you know, over to Europe, Australia, and then it can be, you know,
we are
disseminated.
We are working a ways out, and people are starting to do it because these are digital. You can send these files digitally around the world, right? Like my page is, so we are starting to do it where they will print in UK for UK customers and print in the States for US customers. People are starting to do that now. We're starting to network that way. So hopefully that'll be the solution, where we'll just regionally print the books in different places and then fulfill it that way. It's just a matter of finding the right people in like Australia and Critical Blast that are willing to take on that amount.
Yeah, Critical Blast has been great. You know, it's I've had a number of different comics from different creators that, you know, have that Critical Blast logo on the mailer. Just like, yes, thank God.
So we are trying. And that will bring the cost down if we can print it all regionally that way and then distribute it that way. That'll save a lot of money in shipping. So.
Yeah, this is Aviator had a question here. I bought Soltec a while back, and I think it's number 1, but I don't recall campaigns for 2 and 3, so I'm a bit confused seeing 4. Yes, we were kind of addressing this a little bit earlier. I'm glad you brought it up again for the people that are just joining us now. Soltec, the graphic novel that you backed earlier, the one I have here, this is 1 through 3, issues 1 through 3. And the one that Craig has up on Fund My Comic now, that's 4. And he was saying because of, I guess, the costs involved, it kind of made more sense for him to do the floppy route for now. So the next 3 issues will be the floppy route. But then you are down the road planning to do another collected trade. So I was a bit confused initially too, but I am glad that you brought that up. So
it is reoccurring. I am getting a lot of people are confused over my campaign. It's a lesson learned for me. You got to be very clear with what these campaigns are. You got to delineate your campaigns. Like I basically rolled one campaign into another. So, I mean, that's what caused that confusion. But yeah, if he has that graphic novel that says Betrayal, that's issues 1, 2, and 3. So Betrayal is 1, 2, and 3. Arise is the next graphic novel, and that'll be 4, 5, 6.
Awesome. Yeah. Let's see. Cole King wants to know if you're only on Fund My Comic, or do you use other platforms like Indiegogo or Kickstarter?
Yeah. So the very first campaign was on Indiegogo. I was one of those people who I got shadow banned. So in addition, not only did I get kicked out of the conventions and told I wasn't welcome, but then I used that obviously to generate that momentum, and that got me into Bleeding Cool. I believe they did an article on me, and then IGG shadow banned me. So,
of course, yeah. They'll try to unperson you.
So I was kind of upset, so now why am I selling my book on your platform and you won't even let people see it unless it's with a direct link? So Luke Stone, obviously Arrow Comics, he's the creator for Fund My Comic. This was when Fund My Comic was just being conceptualized. It hadn't even come along yet. I actually had more faith in the site kind of at one point than he did. So I just took down my Indiegogo. I said, I'm not worried about it. I said, Fund My Comic will be up by March. He's like, I don't know. It sounds pretty optimistic. I said, I know it will, Luke. I know you'll have this thing up and running. So I was actually the second campaign on Fund My Comic. Hybrids was the first. The campaign that's currently active was the second campaign. So I did try on Indiegogo. Long story short, I will fulfill this campaign when the book comes out. Like I said, about 6 months, maybe a year down the road, I probably will try another second chance on IGG just to get rid of all the printed books I have here. All that first printed books. Yeah. So I'm not against Indiegogo, but I'm obviously not very impressed with them shadow banning people.
Yeah, I really don't get that. I mean, they have no problem taking their cut, right? But they sure shadow ban the people that they don't agree with, which is just absolutely infuriating.
I think it's kind of reactionary. Like you can't prove what happens, but it's because somebody's bombarding them with complaints about campaigns. So their solution with whoever it is that's flagging campaigns on Indiegogo, thank you very much, whoever that is that's doing this for creators and taking food. I think their solution to it was just to make it so that you can't see the campaigns. And that's their excuse, is that, well, because it's not visible, that somehow absolves us of any responsibility. So I don't know the logic. It doesn't make sense to me, but
it's I don't know. I guess because in a world where everyone is so litigious, it's just easier to we'll make it where nobody can see it, so that kind of removes the problem. It's just ridiculous, lazy. Katie Did's channel, great to see you, Katie. Critical Blast is a blessing to CG. Yeah, for real.
Absolutely.
We have Joe waving there. Hey, Joe. Let's see. Cole King, I prefer floppies anyways. I'll always get them over a collected edition. I think for me, I just like something that's, I guess it doesn't really take up less room, but it just feels like I have it all together in one spot. But I do really like the floppies. There's something just
nostalgic.
comforting. Comforting about it.
I'm the same way. Like, I mean, I was a floppies fan from the '90s. I used to, run to the comic book store every Tuesday, and I would have a fistful of floppies, and I'd run home and read them all. And then same thing next Tuesday, I'd run in again. So
Yeah.
I was very excited when I paired up with Arrow Comics to split the graphic novel into floppies, to have that opportunity.
Yeah. I remember the convention store. Yeah. It's just, it's disappointing. I really hope that they, with this current, issue with John and Shane and Ethan, that they get the refund. Was it something $50,000, something like that for that booth?
Yeah, I think they got the table money. Well, I don't know for sure. My understanding is they did get the table money back, because I mean they would have obviously taken them to court. And as you said, you've gotten your money back, so they've started to, thank goodness, give refunds.
Well, I do have to check. They said they issue the refund, but to check your bank within 5 to 7 business days to make sure. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like one of those things where it's like I'll believe it when I see it in my grubby little statement hands, but I don't know. I thought I heard Shane say that they were going to do the refund, but he hadn't received it yet because they couldn't do the wire transfer, that they had to do a check, which makes me wonder, are they trying to pull more games, or do they not have the money right now? Maybe they're hoping to get some money so they can issue the refund. I don't know. It's mind-boggling.
So silly. Yes, it's high school. It's high school cafeteria all over again, but for adults. Right?
I always thought that, once I got out of school, high school and everything, it's like, all right, I'm dealing with adults now, the real world. Like now I'd rather be dealing with kindergartners and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Or you got your site stuff done. That's great. Great to hear, Ray. I'll look for your DM. Let's see. Joe says those were the good days, seeing New Mutants 98 on the shelf and saying, "Now grab Fantastic Four instead." Yeah. Whoops.
Yeah. I remember, like, I'm such a nerd. Like, my comic book store would let me actually hang out there for 2 hours. So I would read. They didn't care as long as I bought something before I left.
Yeah.
So I would read the books I wasn't really sure I was going to take home with me, and then I would leave with a fistful of other books. So yeah, I'd kill 2 birds with one stone that way.
The tactics paid off, I guess. Yeah, my situation was a little bit different. I don't know if you've heard me talk about this story before, but yes, I will repeat it again. Where I grew up, my mom liked sci-fi books. So I grew up being exposed to sci-fi and everything too. That's why I could really appreciate the sci-fi story at Soltac. But right down the street from us, there was a used bookstore, but it was an adult bookstore. But my mom went there for the sci-fi novels. She'd get, all the old sci-fi novels really cheap. And all the adult stuff was in the back, but they had a spinner rack that had comic books in it. So that was what I was exposed to as a kid, was the, whatever comics they had on that spinner rack. And so the Flash, I think a few Batman comics, some Superman comics, but just went for the Flash comics. And so that was in the Bookworm, the adult bookstore. That's where I got my my exposure, so to speak, to comic books. But
I started off in the drugstore. Yeah, the drugstore.
Yeah.
It was right near the prescription section too, and the pharmacist did not like us kids. You get out of here, you kids, right? But yeah, you grab Mad magazine and G.I. Joe stuff.
Yeah, I remember going to the grocery stores when they still would have. They'd carry the magazines and comics. And that was one of the things too. I would gravitate towards the Mad magazine because it was just, I loved all the parodies in it. It was so funny. I'm sure a lot of this stuff went over my head then. But I liked how they drew everything, and different times. It was fun.
Before the internet.
Yeah, that's so true. Let's see. I think I was going through my stuff. I have some comics. I'm gonna have to put them up, I guess maybe on X or something here, and offer them to people there. But I have some of the old, I think one of the first reboots of Gambit, when they give him his own comic, and it has kind of like the gold foil on it. And there was a Generation X comic I think I got. A lot of it I was just, because I was younger, I was attracted to just the the fancy
Yeah.
covers and everything. My eye was just like, "Woo! What is this shiny, shiny object?" But
Well, the
you
early
know,
'90s, the line art was top notch. It was all the best artists in the craft were working for Marvel and DC and Image Comics, right? You had Todd McFarlane and Rob
yeah.
Liefeld and Jim Lee and they all ran off and they formed Image. They were the bad boys back in the day, and they were the ones getting the ire of DC and Marvel,
Oh
like snubbing their
yeah.
nose at them. How dare you do this, right? So yeah, oh yeah, that was my
I
age of
remember
comics.
thinking it looked so cool and everything too. And just looking at the old comics when I was younger, I don't think I appreciated them like I do now. Just kind of being exposed to everybody in Comicsgate and growing an appreciation for the art and the different styles. But now I go back and I look at some of the stuff from the 70s and the 60s, and it's like, yeah, it has a very unique look to it, a very classic look to it. So, but alas. Oh goodness. Let's see. So anything else? Oh, I know what I was going to ask. Did you have a chance to see the new Joker trailer?
Yeah, well, I saw it without audio, but yeah, where he's sort of standing there and he's giggling to himself and laughing in the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
I could try watching that. I might have to pause it a little bit, but I wanted to get your thoughts on it because I saw a few people commenting on it on X today, and some people were just like, "Nope, no, thank you." Um, for me, like just kind of appreciating it from just the artistic standpoint, it looked very visually, just very well made. Every scene kind of looked like it had, artistic thought behind it. The musical thing, I mean, that's a bit different. I don't know. I don't think I am going to see it, but when I go to see it, I don't think I'm going to think of it as a comic book movie or a Joker movie. I'm just going to go in and think of it as, I guess, a movie, an art house movie. But I don't know. I was kind of curious to get, your opinion on that. Like,
Well, I like the first movie. Like I am
mhm.
a fan of Joaquin Phoenix. Like I haven't seen too many bad movies with him in it. Everything he does is I haven't seen Napoleon yet. That's another one I'm dying for. But I mean,
Yeah.
if you enjoyed the first movie, why not take a chance on the second one? Like he really gets into his roles. So
Well, I think with Todd Phillips, he just really seems like an artistic director, creator, and I mean that takes a little bit of cojones to take, a sequel like this. The first one, I think it took a while, but it got momentum from word of mouth, and it was, I think, right before COVID. Yeah, it was 2019, and I think people just didn't really know what to make of it. But as the word of mouth got out, people went to go see it. I enjoyed it as as
yeah.
just a film, piece of a work of art. It didn't really feel like it was a Joker movie necessarily, except, the guy was kind of crazy and, kind of having his own hallucinations and everything. And having the second one be a musical, it's just kind of like really okay.
But like I don't know, with most people though, like I don't go to the movie theaters anymore. So like, I mean, I'll pay for it to watch it at home. So absolutely,
Yeah.
I'm gonna see it for sure.
Why don't you go to the theater anymore? You just don't like the
Well,
crowds, or?
after COVID, I mean, I don't know. Like COVID kind of made me and a lot of other people just basically just learn to stay at home, like not go to the
Yeah.
brick and mortar anymore. And I mean, going to movie theaters, everything's just so expensive now, right? So to go to a movie theater is almost
Yeah, Jason.
$40, $50 for the experience. I'd rather just buy something and rent it at home.
That makes a lot of sense. Here we kind of have like some older theaters, just two AMC theaters in Pensacola. It's kind of disappointing. When I used to live in Daytona, they had a really modern theater with the 4K, the seats move and everything like that. Um, but I love popcorn, so you can't exactly recreate that movie theater popcorn. I don't know, maybe they put a little bit of radioactive material in it or something like that, but it's just it's so sinfully yummy. And I do like the experience when you kind of get the theater in there and people are either laughing or frightened or something like that. Um, so for me, I don't think I could give up that experience, but I could definitely understand. I could see why, because we still went during COVID and it was weird. There were many, many times where my husband and I were the only people in the theater. So we're just like, let's bring out our our own bar, pop open a beer or something, enjoy the movie. But
Yeah, I had that experience too during COVID. Speaking of which, yeah, we had to they had to check your immunization records.
oh
So
my
this
God.
poor 15-year-old kid, you could tell, did not want to do it, right? Like,
Mhm.
people would flash their phone and stuff. People, like, they didn't even have to, be a different page. Ha ha ha, let me through. And this person wasn't even checking anything, and like, how can you expect some kid making minimum
Oh.
wage to verify everyone's papers before they could let you into the theater? But same thing, as soon as you walk past, you could rip off your mask and now you can walk
Right.
away. Like, it's just so silly. And so
It's just ridiculous.
that's what
But
jaded me, I think, and just, I'm pretty bitter to this day over everything that happened in 2020. So it's sort of like society turned its back on me. We'll see if I've
yeah,
become a bit of a homebody ever since, though. So I just make my own comic and do my own thing.
I definitely do not blame you. But they just got me. I told you they got me with the popcorn.
Yeah.
Those bastards. Let me see here. John Phipps got the 4-pack and added the Conan book. First I heard of Star Trek was a comic at the base PX in '68. A new guy told me it was a TV show, and I said, "Oh, really?" The rest is history until Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. The oh God, it just seems like it's the perfect initials for that show, like an STD, right? You don't like it and you can't get rid of it. I mean, if somebody does watch it and like it, like I think my brother-in-law likes it. I mean, to each his own, right? But I grew up with the reruns of the original, Star Trek, and then even watched the animated cartoon that they had. It'd show that, and definitely grew up watching Next Generation. So it was just weird. I started watching the first episode of Discovery and I'm like, it's not really my cup of tea. If you want to like it, that's, definitely free world so far.
I think I got about 5 episodes in and it got to be a little bit too much. I was just like, yeah, okay. I think when I started to see the Enterprise do that flip, and like,
oh my God,
it's like, okay, what is going on? It's not even used.
And then what's that animated spinoff they did, the Lower Decks? It's like, really? Really? You're going to go that lowbrow?
Right.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I'm a female and I'm so over the whole, I am the strong female trope thing. It's just, and now again, with going back to the whole having my eyes open, red pill kind of thing, I go back and watch some of the older movies now, and I'm just like, like with a girl boss kind of thing, like pushing the guy aside. I got this. We just finished watching the Jurassic World, the Fallen Kingdom, the second one of the reboot.
Right.
The first one was okay. It relied a bit on nostalgia. I don't know. Did you see any of the Jurassic World?
Yeah, I've seen both of them. They're the ones with Ron Howard's daughter.
Yes, Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt. I really love Chris Pratt. I wish he would be the new Indiana Jones or something. He has that swagger, but kind of like that, vulnerability. With twice Dallas Howard. Yeah, exactly. But the first one was okay. Relied on, touching on the old films, referencing the old films with the Jeeps and everything. But the second one, it's like, dear Lord. And then they had to have girl boss, girl geek. And then they had to have a effeminate black guy. It's like, why? Why do you have to cuck the poor black guy? Give me a break.
All the check marks, right?
Yes,
this check.
I can't. My brain can't.
It seems as though like as CGI got better and they got better at making CGI, the writing got lazy, and having good
Yeah, but
storytelling and good writers fell to the wayside.
I had to do a short on this last week about the CG seems like it's getting the CGI seems like it's getting lazier.
Mhm.
Like they're doing it to where it's just good enough, you
Yeah.
know. But in a lot of cases, they're
Cutting
kind of
corners.
yeah, like blurring things.
Mhm.
With the Skull Island Kong movie that came out several years ago, it seemed like they were really tried to make sure the detail looked good on Kong and everything. Same thing with the previous Godzilla movies. They really made sure that they made the scales feel like that they were, from a lizard, and everything just looked as realistic as it could look, even though it was a giant monster, like, it's not real, but they did a pretty good job of making it seem real within the existing world. But oh my god, the Kong stuff from the latest Kong movie. And
No.
again, I don't want to bash it because people,
Mhm.
it's meant to be a popcorn flick, but it's just a trend that I'm noticing. Yeah, they're so pushing the envelope in CG these days.
Yeah.
CGI, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, they cut corners. I think a lot of it too. They're probably outsourcing it
Mhm.
to different countries. Maybe like how certain comic
Yeah,
books
it
get
scares
sourced
me.
out.
It scares me. In 10 years from now, I'm worried that they're going to have AI writing everything, AI doing all the CGI,
Yeah,
AI books. Like we might very well be in the last time of truly talented, people at the forefront of creativity.
I really hope that doesn't encourage
Yeah.
future generations to just not even try. I mean, my God, our caveman ancestors would at least draw in the walls.
Right.
That desire, that ambition was there. It's like, come on, please.
Mhm.
But I think that was probably why they were trying to push the universal basic income years ago, because they do see, I mean, everyone's job is going to eventually be extinct. It doesn't matter from doctors and lawyers all the way down to, the sanitation workers. It's all going to be done by robots and AI eventually. So
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't know.
Very dystopian future.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Will we be the batteries that power the machines? Who
Right.
knows?
Right.
They're trying to tell us something. I don't know. Maybe we're in it now and we don't even know it, right? But goodness. So do you have anything else that you would like to share with us about Soltac?
Other than yeah, I'm just having fun. Thank you, everyone who's taking the time. Thank you for backing. Thank you for supporting me, having me on the channel. I've been having a blast. I'm gonna keep trying to tell this story. Again, issue 4 is just at the printer now. I'm gonna spend probably a good 7 or 8 months probably writing out issue 5 and 6. Make sure that they're completely envisioned before I even try to launch that campaign. I'm going
Yeah.
to keep growing my YouTube. So if anyone's watching this, if you're an aspiring creator, you're looking for a show that isn't too long, I have my show on Friday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern every Friday. It goes 90 minutes, 3 topics with 1 guest. And yeah, feel free to
Yeah,
hit
it's
me
a
up.
great show, guys.
Yeah.
Definitely check it out. The Friday nights. It's awesome. Funny, humorous. You might learn a thing or two about a thing or two. So definitely check it out. Um, and I just wanted to say, thank you to everyone in the chat. I always appreciate you, coming in and giving your thoughts and everything in the comments. If you could, please hit the like button. And if you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing. It helps me grow. It helps YouTube push out the algorithm and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm trying to play nice with it. Back the single. Thanks, Aviator.
Oh,
Good
thank you
stuff.
so
Good
much.
stuff. Yeah, it's good quality. Definitely, you produce a great book. I love the first 3 issues here with
Thank you.
the graphic novel or the trade here. Definitely looking forward to 4, 5, and 6, and eventually
Yes.
7, 8, 9. So to finish the story. And I just wanted to say to you, thank you so much. I appreciated you reaching out to me. I appreciate you, coming on the show and everything. It's always a pleasure to have a chance to chat and everything. And from our Cousins to the North. Would it be Cousins to the North?
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
The Great White North. So thank you so much, and I appreciate
you for having
everyone
me on.
stopping by. And for those who might be joining on the replay, definitely check out Soltac here. You won't regret it. It's a great sci-fi story, great characters, great universe that Craig has created. So check it out. And I think that will do it for me. I'm going to go. Will you beat the New Jersey Comic-Con? Will I be at the New Jersey Comic-Con? I will be at the New Jersey Comic-Con. I have to get my tickets. I'll have to get together with my husband and get that together. But yes, thank you for commenting and hit that like button, please. All right. Well, that will do it for me, everyone. Thanks again. I really appreciate it. And until next time, take care.
50 sets off of me. I've had enough. Get the hell out of my house. In Jesus' name, I pray.